this is Joshua, and I'm finally ready to present the development update on Gracia for week 12. It's a little later than week 12 at this point, but the Thanksgiving holiday kind of interrupted my ability to record an update. But here we are, pretty much right at the end of the game, because most of the stuff that I changed in week 12 that I'm going to be showcasing can be shown at the end here. So, we've just gotten back to Calcaneus, told them that the curse is broken, and we can go talk to everyone. But before we do that, I want to show a couple of things that I changed in the cave. One of them I'm rather proud of. You'll see as soon as we get inside. Then we have this nice little vignette effect that comes in when we enter the cave, and it goes away when we leave. That took a little more time than I would like to admit, and it can probably be done a little bit better, but I'm pretty satisfied with the work I did on it. The second thing is actually this first area here. I completely redid this room, because when I first made the area, all the way back when I first implemented the switch and door puzzles, I had the hint off to the left as its own completely separate path from the actual puzzle itself, which was off to the right. So that didn't make a lot of sense, and I saw at least one case in playtesting where someone went to the right, brute forced the puzzle, and then had no idea how they were supposed to know how to do that puzzle. So I figured I'd just move it, put the sign right in the middle of the room, and spread out the switches a little bit so it was a little bit harder to brute force. I'm not altogether sold on this being the best solution, so the layout of this area might change again pretty soon, but it certainly felt better to have the sign right in front and center compared to putting it in its own little room off to the side where no one's going to look at it. Mario made darn sure that people go to the right first when they're playing games. So that's that area. I also did a little bit of touching up in this area where you get the soil for Silk's first quest. I actually put together some tiles for a transition between dirt and sand so it doesn't look super weird and out of place. So that looks a lot more natural now. That's pretty much all we got to cover in the cave, so now I can get around to actually talking to people. Because I've changed the ending just a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean I've added an actual ending. Originally, it would just fade out when you tried to exit town, and now there's a little bit of dialogue before that. But there's something else that I'm also going to show, or rather I'm going to show instead. Because if we've done all the side quests for everyone, we can talk to them. And if we talk to all of them, I'm not taking a huge amount of time to show their dialogue. I just want to get through talking to every one of them, including Calcaneus. You know, just come back to say goodbye. If and only if we've also completed all of the side quests. We get this little bit. So now, if we return back to Calcaneus, we have an option. So I've essentially added a second ending here, or kind of a third, second and a half. If you leave the village, no matter what, it gives you similar dialogue. It'll still change based on whether you helped everyone or not. But it made sense to include an option for Day to live in Gracia after this point. So, that is one of the new endings. I'm not going to go through the entire game to show the other one, especially because there are technically 2 others, and that would take a little bit of time. But that just about does it for this week's development log. Pretty much everything else that I changed was just combing through the dialogue, making all of that read a little bit more clearly, trying to improve some of the consistency, things like that. We're coming up on the end. As I'm recording this, we're actually entering into week 14, which is the proper end of development since the semester wraps up after next week. So things are looking pretty good and we're about done. So thank you for following me through this development journey, and I hope you'll be satisfied with the result. Till next time.